What's going on, everyone? Chris here, and I am so excited that you guys are hanging out with us tonight. I am in the Christmas mood. I've got my tree up. I've got my gingerbread sweater on, so I'm pretty excited about that too. This is the O Snap sweater because his leg is snapped off. Whoops. I hope that you guys are getting excited too. We're actually going to be talking about why the Christmas season matters so much in our faith. Why is it such a big deal? It's not just because of presents and Santa. It's something completely different. So we're going to be talking about that tonight. It looks like we're having some fun. A lot of people are ready for Christmas. Nathan is almost ready for Christmas. Mary Kay, I would say I am so sorry that you put up a fake tree, but I have always put up a fake tree. So I don't really know anything different. But I have heard if you like the real ones, you always have to go for it. And Megan's giving a shout out to all of the 7th grade girls. I see you. Woot woot. And Sophia's on with us. All right. Megan, I know you're ready for a game. Is everybody else ready for a game? So we have a new game tonight. Let me pull it up. Boom. Oh, I'm already on round 1. Look at that. All right. The new game tonight is called 1 vs. 1000 Christmas Edition. So here's how this works. We will put up 2 products. One will be a Christmas-esque, and one will be maybe Christmas-esque, maybe not. But it's you're trying to guess which one costs more, 1,000 of one or one. So 1,000 of one of the items or one of the other item. It'll make sense as we play. Megan, I know you're going to jump in here and be excited. See you, Eve. All right, here we go. Round 1. Are you ready? It'll make sense. Let's see what you guys think. So the first round is 1,000 feet of garland or 1 dishwasher. 1,000 feet of garland or 1 dishwasher. What do you guys think? Which one costs more? 1,000 feet of lit garland or a dishwasher? I don't know. It seems like it's hard to find some of these things. Like I've been looking for the net lighting and I can't find it anywhere. So I'm betting that's worth a lot right now. All right. So the votes are coming in. Garland, garland, dishwasher, garland, 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 garland. Okay. So it's like super heavy towards garland. I see one outlier with dishwasher. Are we ready? The correct answer is garland, coming in at around $950 versus about $348 for a dishwasher. Now, this isn't like the fanciest of fancy one, but you get the idea. All right, Megan, I think you'll get the hang of it now. So, which one's worth more? So, yeah, what's the dishwasher make and model? Yeah, I see you adults. All right. Obviously, there's variation. Just go with it. Round 2, here we go. 1,000 ornaments or 1 Dyson hair blower. Hair dryer, hair blower. I guess it's a hair blower. I don't know what they call it. So we'll see. 1,000 Christmas ornaments or 1 Dyson hair blower. It's tricky. I don't know. Because are these like the really, really fancy ornaments? Are these like the tiny little ornaments? It doesn't say. I will let you know that this was a fellow youth pastor that searched through these prices. So you'll have to take it up with them, which I won't tell you who it is, so you can't. All right, I'm seeing a lot of things come in. Ornaments, ornaments. Dyson, Dyson. Hair blower, Dyson. Oh man, this one's about split. Hair dryer. Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh man. Okay. It's leaning maybe towards hair dryer. All right. Are you ready? The correct answer is hair thingy. Nice. Is hair blower, coming in at $399 over about $265 for the ornaments. Are you ready for round 3? I think you guys are getting the hang of it now. All right. Round 3. 1,000 LED lights or 1 set of Joy-Cons. See what you guys got. You guys are all getting the hang of this now. I will let you know this one's a lot closer than some of the other rounds so far. What do you think? 1,000 LED lights, one set of Joy-Cons. What you got? See a vote for the lights. LED lights, 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 lights. Joy-Cons. Most are going lights and a couple Joy-Cons. I'm not sure Megan knows what Joy-Cons are. Anyone else want to enlighten her? Brian definitely knows what Joy-Cons are. All right, I'm seeing a lot of lights. Let's see how this came out. Ooh, the Joy-Cons come in at $79.99, whereas at 1,000 LED lights, $63.30. Are you ready? This is fun because I'm sure you guys are all going to argue about certain prices, which also makes it funny too. All right, here we go. 1,000 fresh cut Christmas trees, or one diamond castle from Disney World. All right, so while you guys are voting on this one, London, yes, thank you for helping your mother. Actually, your mom got it. Others were questioning. Joy-Cons are for the Nintendo Switch. So, well done there. All right, so 1,000 fresh cut trees, which I have not fresh cut a tree this year, so I am guessing on the price that they have given us is close, versus one diamond castle from Disney World. Seeing trees, castle, trees, castle. Oh, it's back and forth now. Castle, castle, frowny face. Trees, castle, Disney always. Just no matter what it is, Disney's going to cost a lot of money. Okay, all right, are you guys ready? The correct answer is trees. Yeah, guys, we're not talking about like one Christmas tree. We're talking about 1,000 Christmas trees. So even giving them a low cost of $74 means they come in at $74,000. So there you go. So definitely trees first. All right, this one. Let's go. Let's see. I want to find one of my favorites for our final round. All right, here we go. 1,000 reindeer, basically a 2-hour rental. So 2,000 hours of hanging out with reindeer, or a 2020 Honda Odyssey minivan. So London, I like that you're pointing out that 1,000 trees is very absurd. It is. That's kind of the point of this game. So what do you guys got? Rental of basically 2,000 hours of reindeer, or a 2020 Honda Odyssey. Now, keep in mind, you're not buying reindeer because that's not an option. You were just renting them, but it's a lot of rental. So normally they come in at a 2-hour rental. This is 1,000 rentals of reindeer. I see a good mix of car, reindeer, car, car, deer, 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 deer. All right, are you ready for the final answer? It is reindeer, because they come in at about, what is that, $50 to rent, that versus $30,000 for a Honda Odyssey. So reindeer, way more expensive on that one. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, maybe you're renting actual Rudolph. It's possible. I don't know. Guys, that was an awesome game. I don't know if you had a blast, but I did. And in fact, just give you a little teaser. I don't know if that includes insurance. I love all the adult questions on something that's just supposed to be a silly game, guys. It seems like if you guys play games with your families, there are a lot of question marks on some rules, I am guessing, and some battles on who is following what rules. So that's really funny to think about because my family has the same problems. It's also true anytime we play a game at youth, as of right now. So, here we go. See, now everyone's arguing the minivan price. This is just funny. See, you guys are making games not fun anymore. We're just having fun. No, we're having fun. That's part of the game, actually, is to decide if that's right or not, and I don't know. I haven't bought any of these things of 1,000 or singular any time recently. So, there you go. I am really glad that you guys are hanging out with us tonight. If you enjoyed that Christmas theme game, next week we're basically having a virtual Christmas party, and we are going to be playing tons of games, and we are creating a special way to bring in you guys as special guests during the Christmas party so that we will select different contestants for each game to come in and to play part of that game, which we're really, really excited about. And then we'll play all sorts of other games too. So, Megan, get ready. Everyone else get ready to beat Megan because it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. But tonight we are talking about why is Jesus such a big deal. We talk about Jesus all the time, and around Christmas we are celebrating Jesus coming to be with us as a little baby, right? And what we are really celebrating is God taking on flesh to come and be with us, to be the way that leads to life. And we've talked about a lot of these different things in some of our other series, but tonight we dig into the idea of God coming to be with us and why is that such a big deal. So I hope that you guys will check this out. We even have a special guest scripture reader jumping in on it. So see what you get out of it, and I can't wait to hear some of the discussions coming out afterwards. Are you ready? What's up, everybody? So glad that you are joining us tonight. It's December. Who knew? Christmas is almost here. It's so crazy. We're so excited. As always, I am joined with all of our influencers hanging out over here with me, and we are going to just have a blast tonight. Why does it matter that God came to be with us? Why is that important? Why is this Jesus such a big deal? So we're going to be talking about that tonight. But first, I have a question. Who was your favorite teacher or coach?
My favorite teacher that I've had so far in like my high school career is probably my AP Lang teacher, Miss Crump, because instead of her like making me feel bad, she gives you feedback and the fundamental building blocks to make the progress that you want.
It's my current lessons teacher for oboe, Titus Underwood. He's the oboist of the National Symphony. There's certain tools you need to know, like techniques and like practicing techniques that you need to know in order to get better. And a lot of them I like didn't know about, and he taught me those, and like I've been able to use those to get better, which is cool. He's also super encouraging.
My favorite teacher throughout the years is probably my ISR teacher. He really cared about learning and not just grades. So even though we did have to have tests, he didn't teach for the test. He taught for us to like learn better. He was more with hands-on activities. He gave us room to learn it on our own and then correct us when we did something wrong, saying like, oh, you did well here, but here's something you can improve.
So even though he wasn't my teacher, I'm going with Mr. Roy Renfro himself. He's also kind of a life teacher. He's been my small group leader for the last 5-6 years. He's just a really awesome guy who has grown with us and helped us grow.
One of my favorite teachers growing up was Miss Travis. Miss Travis was my 3rd grade teacher. I was not the most well-behaved child. I don't know if you guys could have guessed that. But a lot of that was because I was sort of bored in class. And Miss Travis noticed that. And so what she did is she noticed that I really took a liking to math, all math, any kind of math. I know, that's weird. And so what she did is she kept giving me next level and next level and next level of math. So when she was teaching 3rd grade math, I was on a whole different thing. And it was so much fun to like problem solve without even necessarily being taught how to do it. I just had to figure it out. Today, I still love problem solving. And I think that really started in her class. But what about how they taught was so different, was so impactful?
I think the most impactful part of her teaching was the fact that like she gave you a grade, but she explained why you got that grade. She doesn't make you feel bad about it either. It's like normal to have to start from the bottom and then work your way up.
It's like how challenging of a teacher he is, and he's like constantly pushing me to do more and like do better, and also how encouraging he is at the same time. I feel like sometimes that's hard to balance, but I feel like he does a very good job of that.
I like the just how personal the relationship we've developed is. Really getting to know that person or that teacher for me is always helpful because what I'm doing feels more meaningful.
My teacher really caring about the students. He didn't make the class about getting a good grade. He made the class more about learning. And all he wanted us to do was learn because he truly loved teaching. And so as long as you were learning and interacting in the class like he wanted you to, you never had to worry about grades.
It's interesting. You guys are all naming kind of similar things. They paid attention to you, the individual, and not just the topic as much. And not only that, they saw the potential in each of you to be something more than what you were presenting right then. So Kevin, I think you said that they were both like extremely challenging, but also encouraging. And they probably were pushing you, but not just to push you. They were pushing you because they saw that you could do it. But they sort of all kind of come down to the same thing of that they came and they sat with you and they continued to push you more and more into who you were or to who you could become. And I think that's really interesting when we're talking about this idea of God coming to be with us. A lot of times when we think about God up there somewhere, right? And when we talked about heaven and hell, we talked about like heaven being somewhere else and that maybe God lives there. But something changes when we think about God coming to be with us, not in just the giant voice, but like literally coming to be one of us, to be with us, to walk with us. And as we talked about recently, to show us the way, the truth, and the life. With the whole Christmas time coming, we're thinking about Jesus, right? We're thinking about Jesus coming as a little bitty baby, but that's God coming to be with us in the flesh. And so, what changes during this time when we're thinking about Christmas that really helps us remember God being with us, God incarnate or in the flesh with us? Why does that matter? So, let me ask it a little differently. How is God coming to be with us similar to the teachers that you named?
It's more personal since, like Jesus was a person and you could talk to him in like the physical world. And I think that's definitely a lot more personal than just trying to talk to God on our own.
This is kind of like a choppy thing, but Jesus coming to earth and being born led to him dying for our sins. And because he died for our sins, we're able to learn and make these mistakes, but also make progress in learning from those mistakes. And also, having Jesus come to earth gave us a tangible representation of what we should try to be like.
Something that kind of connects all of our teachers is that we kind of all see them as someone who is caring and they're leading by example. And by God coming down to earth, he shows us what it looks like to live like him. And so what we should do is follow his example.
Kerrigan, Eli, you guys are both naming those things of like there's something when they are walking with us that becomes way more personal. It becomes a relationship and not just a like this is a teacher and this is a student. It becomes like more than that. It's not just like labels. It's actually a relationship. And I think that's definitely similar to what we're seeing when God comes to be with us in Jesus, is that feels way more of a relationship. Even though it already was, something changes when God comes to be with us. Jesus actually changes everything for us. I don't know if it changes much for God, but it changes things for us. Jesus shows us the way that leads to life. He actually says he is the way. And so we're seeing this example. And this example, as Kerrigan said, even leads through death, but it shows us that it's bigger than death itself, that this life that God is calling us to is actually life forever, bigger than death itself, which is so crazy to think about, that when we're thinking about Jesus at Christmas, this is just a baby, right? but there's something different. Jesus is God in the flesh, coming to be with us to show us the way, but also to create that tangible relationship that is actually like helps us become more and more who God created us to be. So now let's look at a passage. Pay attention to the God coming to be with us and the context in which the gospel writer of John puts it in, because he is making a bigger claim of Jesus than just this humanity thing. Jesus is fully God and fully man, and this passage continues to point that out.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. The true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him. He came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God, children born of natural descent, nor of human decision, nor a husband's will, but born of God. The Word became flesh and made its dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth.
There is a lot in that passage, and there is intentionally a lot in that passage. What John does is he starts with in the beginning, and he does that to intentionally have the reader go, wait, I've heard that before. He's heard that before in the beginning of the whole thing, right? All the way at the start. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In the beginning was the Word. So what he's doing is he's intentionally calling back to the creation story and saying Jesus is a part of all of this. God made flesh is a part of all of this because Jesus is God. And this is the same one we're talking about. And so he's connecting all of these together, and then we continue to hear all sorts of different things in there. What did you hear when we were reading through it?
I don't know. There were a lot of like parallels of like this happened and then this happened, but they like intertwine. It's kind of confusing.
I don't know. It was really lengthy, and kind of like Kerrigan said, it all felt very connected, like parallel, and it.
Let me maybe break it down a little bit, because this passage does have a lot of back and forth because it's very poetic, right? It almost reads like a poem, or almost like, have you ever heard of slam poetry? Where it's almost like a little more rhythm to it than just a poem. So you have like the back and forth. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and he was with God in the beginning. You see how there's kind of like some of that rhythm going on there? There's some of this rhythm to it because there's this poetry, because he's playing with all of these illustrations and visuals and callback to the whole story leading up to this point. And the Word is referencing Jesus. The first few verses talks about the Word, and it talks about the Word is light and life of all creation. So we're setting up that this isn't just a random guy. In fact, he names a random guy, right? We talk about John, and John came to point to the light, but John wasn't the light. The Word was the light. So you even see the contrasting of like, this isn't just some dude. This isn't just a cool, awesome teacher. Although there are cool and awesome teachers, as we've expressed. This is a whole different ballgame. So this is different. So the Word is the light and life of all creation. Big deal. Then we get the little section about John, who wasn't the light, but points to the light, which is maybe what we're called to do. And then you get that the Word comes into the world to be with us. So the Word is the thing, all the thing. John is here reminding us of our place to be pointers to the light. And then, but that light comes to dwell and be with us. And maybe that changes everything.
Could the light be the light of the star when Jesus was born?
So you know how it calls back to the creation story. So we have verse 1 and 2 is, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. We have like this separation. And then in verse 3, now God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning the first day. Later on in the creation story, God makes light again. Verse 16, God made two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. So what was the first thing?
The sun?
Sounds like the sun is later. So what's the first light?
Same light from the passage we just read.
A lot of scholars that try to ask this question. Now, obviously, we don't know, but they wrestle with, so why does God make light twice? Why does God make light? And then why does God make the daylight and the moonlight? Perhaps John is calling back to this first light and saying the word is that light.
I don't really understand. Like in the very last part, it says, the word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. The only time I've ever heard flesh is like communion.
Do you think there's a connection between that communion and the flesh we were talking about?
Word became the flesh, and communion is based on the word.
So I think there's definitely a connection between the word becoming flesh and dwelling among us. And we take later on at the Last Supper, we're reminded that this is my body broken for you. This is my flesh broken for you, given for the salvation and restoration of everything. So let me tie it back to some of our teachers and coaches a little bit again. If you are stuck on something or you're just kind of can't get it, is it helpful for the teacher just to write something randomly down or to send you a picture? Or is it more helpful for them to show you?
Not only to show you, but to guide you.
And so it is with Jesus. That the whole story up till now, God continues to reach out, trying to set things right again, partnering with us. And finally, God says, let me go and be with them, because I can show them the way that leads to life by being the way that leads to life. And perhaps that's how it changes everything. Now, it doesn't mean we have it all figured out yet. And it doesn't mean it all makes sense. And we still have a lot of questions. But God came to be with us, to show us this way, to guide us, and to help lead us by being the light. And for me, it's changed everything, because that's how I found purpose. That's how I found who I am. That's how I have found life in the world and through relationships with other people, is founded in the idea of withness, WITHNESS. In the withness, that's where relationship happens.
So the way I'm thinking about this is that sort of like if you just look around you right now, especially you, Chris, I mean, you see probably 50 different lights, or just think lights that you use every day. So to me, those lights are like your teachers or people that are influential in your life. They get you through your life, but at the end of the day, they can go out. They're not going to be a part of your life forever. But the one light that's eternal and will always rise is the sun. It's always there, and that's God sending down Jesus to be with us. He will continually be there day after day.
And I think that's what that part about John is, right? Is that he points out John's not that light, but John points to the light. So he's almost like he's like a tour guide, or even like a mirror, like reflecting God's light, but not actually God's light. And so that's our call as followers of Jesus, is to be pointers and reflectors of God's light into the world, to shine God's light into the darkness. And I think, Andrew, you kind of named it, right? Is that because God came to be with us, and in this withness showed us the light and the life and the truth that leads to life forever, that's our call too, is to be with, to show up in the hard and dark places and to be a light. And what it reminds us of is in the year that has been like no other year for us, and the suckiness and the unknownness and the darkness and God shows up. And we have the hope that God shows up, especially in the darkness, and a light actually shines brighter in the darkness. May we find hope in that, in this weird season that we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen day to day. But that God shows up in the darkness and the broken and the lost, the hurting, the pain, the just of 2020, and shines a light. And that we can be that light, to shine that light, to reflect that light, to point to that light for each other too. All right, so that was a lot. I'm seeing some mind-blown emojis. I don't know if that is a combo of like, wow, that's an awesome idea, or holy smokes, that was a lot of information. It's probably both. I would agree with you. So there's a lot to unpack that you guys can talk about in your small groups, or feel free to message us anywhere you can find us on GroupMe and YouTube and Instagram. Always good to subscribe and follow and like us, because you never know what we're up to next. A couple quick announcements, and then we're sending you to your groups. I know we're like right at time. Next week, we are having a virtual Christmas party. You do not want to miss this. This will be like unlike anything else we have done. So we're going to be sending you out a special link to sign up, because we're going to be using something called Zoom Webinar, which sounds boring, but we're going to make it awesome. It's going to give us some special features to allow you guys to be a part of what is happening, to join in on the games live, where we will actually get to see you compete. So make sure that you get your crazy outfits ready. This is just a teaser for what's to come next week. Get your crazy outfits ready, because there will be a costume contest with prizes. We will be playing a lot of games and having a lot of fun. So make sure to watch that link. There will be ways to sign up for it in your GroupMes. If you are not currently in a small group and in a GroupMe, make sure to fill out that link below. We would love for you guys to do that as well. A couple other quick things. We have Christmas coming up at the church. We will be doing a drive-up Christmas Eve service, actually a couple of them, which means your family can sign up to drive and be in person at sunset in the parking lot on Christmas Eve. So you don't want to miss that. There is a link in this video description below to sign up there. Also, you know we love serving our community, and we're doing a whole month of going local to serve our community in different ways and giving back. So that link is also there as well. So we would love for you guys to serve, to join us, to hang out. And if you don't watch us on Sunday mornings as a church, just a little teaser, I'm giving the sermon next week. So you might want to watch that and see what happens. Shalom's excited. It's going to be great. All right, I want to close this in prayer, and then we're going to head out to our groups. Let's pray. God, we thank you that you chose to come and be with us, to show us the way, to be the light that shines in the darkness. There is a lot of darkness in our world, and a lot of just unknown and anxiety and craziness. So we just breathe in your joy and your light, and may we find peace in that today. And we lift all of this up in the name of the one who came to be with us, Jesus. Amen. All right, everyone. I will see you later. Peace.